Central Illinois Congressman Darin LaHood says Congress is looking to offer more incentives to get more skilled workers into the workforce. In our final story on Sound Ideas today, WGLT's Eric Stock reports on LaHood's visit to the new Advanced Manufacturing Lab at Heartland Community College.
The Republican LaHood represents parts of Bloomington-Normal. LaHood says many employers in his district continue to complain about a lack of skilled labor. He says he'd like to see more incentives for employers, perhaps in the form of tax credits.
Setting the example of working with the private sector to fit with their needs is going to be a huge component with that. So I think this is a great example of it.
Heartland Community College opened the $17 million training facility last month in hopes of addressing the skilled labor shortage. Heartland President Keith Cornell estimates the new center could attract as many as 300 more students starting in the fall.
We're getting a lot of calls from students and others in our community, young people, high school, some people that are working right now and are looking for new skills and upskilling.
The manufacturing center also includes a new electric vehicle lab. Congressman LaHood says he'd like to see more financial incentives for battery production for electric vehicles in the U.S.
One thing we're concerned about serving on the Select Committee on China is how do we make sure we're incentivizing domestic production and domestic innovation and creativity when it comes to the EV space. And so we're definitely promoting that also, and that's a big part of what we're doing.
To the federal spending bill Congress recently approved to keep the government open, that did not get LaHood's support.
Well, if it was fiscally responsible, I would have. There was many things in there that, listen, I didn't want the federal government to shut down. I don't think we should have that as a goal.
LaHood did not elaborate on any specifics he'd like to remove from the $1.2 trillion plan, but said he'd support across-the-board spending cuts. The bill helps fund several projects in the Bloomington-Normal area, including $2 million for the Locust-Colton Sewer Separation Project in Bloomington, $1.5 million for stormwater improvements in Normal, $850,000 to reconfigure Vernon Avenue in Normal from 4 lanes to 3 near Colleen Hoos Elementary, and over $500,000 for the McLean County Historical Society to continue digitizing newspaper images for future public access. Congressman LaHood says he still supports House Speaker Mike Johnson, who helped craft the spending bill. Far-right Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene called for a vote to remove Johnson as Speaker. LaHood says Johnson should stay in the role.
I can't think of anything dumber than going through that exercise again of ousting our Speaker. We have a tight governing majority now. It's a very partisan atmosphere, but I think using the motion to vacate to get rid of Speaker Johnson is a really dumb idea.
Johnson became Speaker 5 months ago. His predecessor, Kevin McCarthy, lasted less than a year in the role before House Republicans voted him out. This after he worked with the Democrats to pass a similar spending bill. Congressman LaHood says the U.S. should not push back against Israel over the deaths of more than 32,000 Palestinians in the war in Gaza. LaHood says the Israelis should decide on their own how to respond after Hamas attacked last October.
I don't think we should be getting involved in the politics of another country.
And the U.S. abstained from a United Nations Security Council vote this week to demand a temporary ceasefire in Gaza. And LaHood says he's still waiting for a reply from Postmaster General Louis DeJoy regarding plans to reduce operations at several mail processing centers in central Illinois, including Peoria and Champaign. LaHood says the postmaster has not effectively made the case for why those processing centers should downsize.
It seems to me that the decision they're taking doesn't take that into account, and so we have concerns about the downsizing, but more importantly, the effect it has on mail service for our constituency, particularly many of our rural areas, that's their lifeline on a daily basis is getting their mail on time and 6 days a week.
LaHood and Democratic Congressman Eric Sorensen wrote a letter to DeJoy on the matter in February. They requested answers by this Friday. I'm Eric Stock.